While you do your penmanship today, I'm going to be reading you a chapter of Encyclopedia Brown in the Case of the Secret Pitch. Try to figure out if you can solve the mystery in the time that I'm reading this. You ready? This chapter is Encyclopedia Brown. This is actually the Case of the Secret Pitch, so super special. Idaville looked like any other town of its size from the outside. On the inside, however, it was different. 10-year-old Encyclopedia Brown, America's Sherlock Holmes in sneakers, lived there. Besides Encyclopedia, Idaville had 3 movie theaters, a little league, 4 banks, and 2 delicatessens. It had large houses and small houses, good schools, churches, stores, and even an ugly old section by the railroad tracks. And it had, everyone believed, the best police force in the whole world. For more than a year, no one, boy, girl, or grown-up, had gotten away with breaking a single law. Encyclopedia's father was chief of police. People said he was the smartest chief of police in the world. Chief Brown knew better. His men were brave, true enough. They did their jobs well, but Chief Brown brought his hardest cases home for Encyclopedia to solve. For a year now, Chief Brown had been getting the answers during dinner in his red brick house on Rover Avenue. He never told a soul. How could he? Who would believe that the guiding hand behind Idaville's crime cleanup wore a junior-sized baseball mitt? Encyclopedia never let out the secret either. He didn't want to seem different from the other 5th graders. There was nothing he could do about his nickname, however. An encyclopedia is a book or set of books filled with facts on all subjects. Encyclopedia had read so many books, his head held more facts than a library. Nobody but his teachers and his parents called him by his real name, Leroy. He was called Encyclopedia by everyone else in Idaville. Encyclopedia did not do all his crime-busting seated at the dinner table. During the summer, he usually solved mysteries while walking around. Soon after vacation began, he had opened his own detective business. He wanted to help others. Children seeking help of every kind came to his office in the Brown garage. Encyclopedia handled each case himself. The terms of his business were clearly stated on the sign that hung outside the garage. One morning, Speedy Flanagan, the shortest fastball pitcher in the Idaville Little League, walked into the Brown Detective Agency. He wore a face longer than the last day of school. "I need help," he said, side-arming 25 cents onto the gasoline can beside Encyclopedia. "What do you know about Browning?" "Nothing. I've never browned," replied Encyclopedia. "But once at the beach, I tanned something awful." "I mean Robert Browning," said Speedy. "The English poet?" No, said Speedy. "The American League pitcher, Robert Spike Browning." Even Encyclopedia's Aunt Bessie knew of Spike Browning. He was the ace of the New York Yankees pitching staff. "What do you want to know about him?" asked Encyclopedia. "Do you know what his handwriting looks like?" asked Speedy. "I made a bet with Bugs Meany, my bet against his, that Bugs couldn't get Spike Browning to buy a secret pitch for $100. "Whoa!" cried Encyclopedia. "If I understand you, Bugs bet he could sell Spike Browning a special way to throw a baseball?" "Right. Bugs and his father were in New York City the last week in June," said Speedy. "Bugs said he sold Spike Browning his cross-eyed special." "You'd better explain," said Encyclopedia. "The pitcher crosses his eyes whenever there are runners on first and third bases," said Speedy. "That way, nobody knows where he's looking, whether he's going to throw the first base, third base, or home plate." I don't know if you ever crossed your eyes. I don't think you'd be able to see either way. "The runners don't dare to take a lead. The secret is how the pitcher can throw the ball someplace while staring himself in the eye. Bugs sold the secret. He has a letter from Spike Browning and a check for $100. "Phew," said Encyclopedia. "I understand you now. You figure Bugs wrote the letter and the check himself to win the bet and your bat." "So do I. Let's go see Bugs." Bugs Meany was the leader of the Tigers, a gang of older boys who caused more trouble than itching powder in Friday's wash. Since setting up as a detective, Encyclopedia had stopped many of Bugs' shady deals. The Tigers' clubhouse was a tool shed behind Mr. Sweeney's auto body shop. When Encyclopedia and Speedy arrived, Bugs was leading a discussion on how to beat the bubblegum machines around town. The Tigers' leader broke off to greet Encyclopedia. "Get lost," he said. "Not until I have a chance to see the letter and check from Spike Browning," said Encyclopedia. Bugs opened a box and passed Encyclopedia a check and the letter. Encyclopedia read the letter. "Yankee Stadium, New York, June 31st. Dear Bugs, your cross-eyed pitch is the greatest thing since the spitball. I expect to win 30 games with it this season. For sole rights to the secret of it, I am happy to enclose my check for $100, yours truly, Spike Browning. The letter was written on plain white paper. The check, bearing the same date as the letter, was drawn on the First National Bank for $100. Spike will win 50 games this season, said Bugs, and I won one baseball bat from Speedy Flanagan. So where is it? Where's your bat? Corrected Encyclopedia. Speedy won the bet. You lost. The letter and the check are fakes. I ought to shove those words down your throat, said Bugs, but I'm feeling too good about what I did for the great American game of baseball. Bugs crossed his eyes. Humming to himself, he went into a secret throwing motion. The other tigers cheered wildly. Man, oh man, sang Bugs. I invested the greatest pitch since Edison threw out the gas lamp. No smart aleck private detective is going to walk in here and call me a liar. Oh, yes, I am, said Encyclopedia. Spike Browning never wrote that letter. That check is a worthless piece of paper. What made Encyclopedia so certain? Well, if you want to have some time to think it out, you can pause it. And I'm going to tell you why. Encyclopedia knew instantly that neither the check nor the letter was written by the Yankee pitcher Spike Browning, and not even any grown-up. Both the check and the letter bore the same date, June 31st, but no year was given. And there is no June 31st. June only has 30 days. Were you able to get that? Shown the errors, Bugs could do nothing but admit having written the letter and check himself. And loser of the bet, he had to give Speedy Flanagan his baseball bat. Were you able to solve it? You'll have to let me know on our video chat or at the end of this video. All right, guys, I'll see you later.